So he would frequently work till late, probably until midnight. Then he will reach home. Then he would immediately fall asleep and start snoring. Then I'll get annoyed because I'm a light sleeper and I can't sleep with a bit of noise, not even like a cricket chirping nearby.
For me, one of the best parts of it is this ability to really discuss work and have that added sort of dimension to our relationship. And as people in the media industry know, right, it can be sometimes a bit hard for people to truly understand how things are in the field we're in. It could be something that happened to you on the job, or a particular newsmaker who made it a bit more challenging for you to get what you need. Maybe the photos or videos didn't come through as what you wanted it to be, and or the rush of panic you get when something's breaking. You must attend to it immediately. So I'm lucky that Haziq has always been a good listener when it comes to my complaints or how I rave about something when it comes to my job.
Before I was in the newsroom, Hariz would sometimes complain about the hardships he faced from day to day. Like, I could sympathize, but I couldn't really empathize with him. Before he moved out, after he got married, we were living together. We would share a room in a HDB, right? So he would frequently work till late, probably until midnight. Then he will reach home. Then he would immediately fall asleep and start snoring. Then I'll get annoyed because I'm a light sleeper and I can't sleep with a bit of noise, not even like a cricket chirping nearby. I do work late nights too back then, but I just couldn't get it. He did almost every other day. But only when I started working in the newsroom, I could see like how much he does and how much it takes, both physically and mentally. And then I had a newfound appreciation for how tiring it is to work in the industry. So yeah, being able to talk to him about work and whine about work together, especially when both of us know the same people who are working the newsroom, and it's quite an interesting experience.
When we discuss stories, Haziq suggests to me how some things I work on could have a sort of video potential, and how I should think about how to translate these stories visually. Like, for instance, I'm thinking of doing a piece over here on digital nomads here in Indonesia, and we just had a discussion a few days ago about the sort of potential video ops that this could have. Our age is quite close, so that helps a lot. Like, generally being only 13 months apart, we do have quite a fair bit of similar interests. And growing up, we were exposed to the same things. We both, Haziq does have a lot of his own interests too. He's definitely a lot more physically active than me. He plays sports. He got all the cool genes of the people. He plays guitar, he plays sports, he rides a bike. I just read and play video games.
I guess our interests diverged a bit when we got older, but because of how close we are, that's why we would share these kind of things and have little snippets of our interests with each other. Like, he might say I got all the cool genes, but he got all the smarts . We have different strengths and weaknesses I would say. But I think because of that, we help each other in both aspects of our strengths and our weakness. And your point about avoiding competition or conflict between each other, I think it's putting yourself in the other person's perspective. Everyone's got their good and bad days. Like, you might catch someone on a bad day, they might not be the most pleasant to work with, but in the end, in the newsroom, you still got to work with them in some cases, whether you like it or not. I think it all boils down to being a decent human being and not being a jerk to the people that you work with and for. And I guess that's the baseline of avoiding conflict . My whole life, I've heard people voice out and say that they wish they had an older brother like I do. Like, all my friends, they're envious of me with how close my brother and I are . Though I usually make a joke about him, I honestly respect my brother so much. He's inspired me in every aspect of my life, and sometimes he has no idea how much it means to me . Being the younger sibling, I've learned and I continue to learn many things from him, from navigating life to simple things as how to properly draft an email in a professional setting. But I think the biggest life or career lesson that I've learned for him would be his incredible work ethic and his hard work. When I came into the newsroom, like I said, many people came up to me and asked me if I was his brother, and they would sing praises about him, like how wonderful and how easy it is to work with him. I'm incredibly proud of him and what he has accomplished, and I hope I make him proud too lah. And I also hope I live up to his name in the newsroom.
Wow, how do I follow up to that? That's such a great answer. I mean, I'm very proud of you too, Haziq. I think that, his body of work stands for itself, and, to see how far you've come in the newsroom and how far you would imagine that you're headed to, it just fills me with so much excitement lah, to see, what else you'll achieve. From Haziq, I've learned the value of, believing in myself and really just like centering yourself and focusing on what you can do. As I'm sure most people can relate, right? There are moments in your career where you feel sort of like imposter syndrome, where you feel like, hey, am I really in this team? What if I screw it up? But and I think especially in my early years in journalism, I did feel that kind of insecurity. But Haziq has always been very steadfast and very reassuring and supportive lah. I'm lucky to have a strong support system in my family and friends, and that includes my brother, who's always told me that I must never forget that I got here thanks to my hard work and abilities. And I'm very happy to see that he's translating that also in his day-to-day and pumping out all these great like video features and all this, accumulating this very, very impressive body of work that I'm sure we both can look back on and be very, very proud of lah.